All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give honor and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. We say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. And we give it up honors to our apostle elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Things are popping, things are making moves. There's already different stories about Saudi Arabia moving away from the U.S. dollar and the West period. So let's go ahead and play this video, and Lord willing, this is the edifying lesson. And I'm gonna bring up a few precepts and a few other articles, and then we'll go ahead and close on out. All right, shalom.
Saudi Arabia announced with a handshake, Iran and Saudi Arabia announced on Friday that the two countries are reestablishing relations. The agreement comes after 7 years of hostility, which had threatened security and stability in the Gulf and helped fuel conflicts from Yemen to Syria. It follows 4 days of previously undisclosed talks in China between top security officials from the two rival Middle East powers. Here's Iran's Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, Rear Admiral Ali Shamkhani.
At the end of the talks, we reached a conclusion to start a new chapter after 7 years of breaking off relations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and Saudi Arabia. While considering the matters of the two countries and the security and future of the region to prevent meddling from extra-regional and Western states and consistent meddling of the Zionist regime in the region.
The two countries also agreed to reopen embassies within 2 months and reactivate the 2001 Security Cooperation Accord, as well as another.
You got China that's heading this thing because they're moving towards time. China is that new power, so things are being made behind U.S.'s back. Okay, that wound is they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and we're gonna get into that here shortly. But you seeing these moves being made, and Babylonians aren't even paying attention to it. These are monumentous moves because we already know that the world is something's going to happen where the world is going to turn against Babylon the Great. And they're going to shoot thermonuclear weapons on this place. But right now you see the beginnings of those nations that are linking themselves up. You got the BRICS nations, all right? You got Portugal, all right? You got Russia, China. You got South Africa. You got all these different nations that are starting to come together and to make, they've already agreed on it. They're just showing you the out, because business moves always happen behind closed doors before they come out to the open. So the business deals have already been done. The backdoor deals have already been signed. All right, the elites have already got their hands, because what are they doing? They're closing shop on Babylon. The purpose of Babylon has been done. That's why if you look into the World Economic Forum, they're not really including the U.S. It's just saying what's going to happen, but they're not saying that the U.S. is going to still be at that power level. All right, they're not including the U.S. as a power player in this new plan. Okay.
Earlier pact on trade, economy, and investment. China's top diplomat Wang Yi
you got China right in the middle. Come on, man, that brokered the deal.
Described the deal.
So they're not coming to the deal. If they were happy with the U.S. and what they were getting with the U.S., guess what? They wouldn't be at this table. They wouldn't be doing negotiations. These nations only negotiate for their own benefit or to benefit them. So they're getting something out of this, because China's a big player right now, and they're setting themselves to be up at at that new power level. So all these things, that's why it says in Psalms, it says, why does the heathens rage and they imagine a vain thing? Psalms, the 2nd chapter. So they're imagining this. The prophecy has to be fulfilled. They have to imagine that vain thing. And this is that vain thing that they're setting up a hegemony beyond them, because that's why they don't believe Jake is going to come up. They don't even have us on the radar of ruling anything. They're trying to set up another world and another system for their own benefit, not knowing that, guess what? The new tenants and the new rulers in town are being established right now by the way of this truth.
Was a victory for dialogue and peace, adding that Beijing would continue to play a constructive role in addressing tough global issues. A White House spokesperson said the Saudis kept Washington informed of the talks, but the U.S. was not directly
they informed us. That's what they were informing us, right?
Involved. Iran and Saudi Arabia, respectively, the two.
So let's jump into these precepts, because this shows you right here that, you know, that they that have eaten that bread have laid that wound, man. This is the book of, let's start at Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah 30. This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 14. Jeremiah 30 and verse 14, it says, all thy lovers have forgotten thee. See, the same thing that happened with us when we went to these other nations round about to try to go after their gods, their way of life. That's why we told the Lord, oh, we want a king. Just like we were telling the Lord, and the Lord gave us Saul. And the things that the Lord promised would happen came after that. But the same thing you see taking place right now, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is establishing in the same type of way we fell, with the same way Esau is going down. And it says, all thy lovers, it says all thy lovers. And what's a lover? Saudi Arabia. That's a main lover right there. China was a main lover. That was a treaty ally, because everything that we make in Babylon as a consuming country comes from China. That's a lover, or that's somebody that you were intimate with, somebody that you lay down with. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. See, they seek thee not. What is the word seek? Let's go into it. That word forgotten. The word there, let's play it.
Strong's H7911, shachach, shachach. And second entry, shacheach, shacheach.
And it says to forget, ignore. Damn. These scriptures are on point. Ignore. So your lovers have ignored you. So they made this deal, this backroom deal without the West. They told them, because it feels like, you know, you don't want to get caught at the mall with your new chick and your other one walk in. That's pretty much that situation. You know, Babylon's that woman that's getting ignored when there's new dates happening. These other nations are going on dates without Babylon in the presence. Okay, I just wanted to compare it. It says ignore, wither, to forget, to cease to care about. See, cease to care what Babylon thinks. That's why they said they informed Babylon. They let them know. Let's play it again.
For dialogue and peace, adding that Beijing would continue to play a constructive role in addressing tough global issues. A White House spokesperson said the Saudis kept Washington informed of the talks, but the U.S. was not directly involved. Iran and Saudi Arabia, respectively.
So we at the door of this thing, man. This is this way the Lord dismantled Israel, because we came from the time of Solomon. We were highly praised as a nation. Okay, King David had subdued the nations around about us, and then Solomon came in. That's why his name was Peace. All right, so that peacetime that we had with Solomon, that led, and then you had the time of Rehoboam and Jeroboam, which that was the split, which was the start of the end of our power structure. It says to cease to care about, to be forgotten, to cause to forget, to make or cause to forget, to be forgotten. Okay? And then let's go right here to the next word. Let's read it. It says, all thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. There we go. Seek thee. The word there for seek is dawarash, and it says what? To resort to seek with care, inquire, require, resort to frequent. So that this place used to be well known on the stage of world economical talks, because America was the top dog. So now these nations are not seeking for Babylon's approval, or they're not seeking for Babylon's help. They're making deals, man. And they're making deals in the open. But they're telling, don't call us, we'll call you type of mood. Heathens of gods, it says seek deities of prayer, worship. Heathen deities, investigate, inquire, ask for help. Ask for demand. So them demands aren't coming for Babylon's services anymore. It says, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins were increased. So the same, and you don't think the modern day Babel, his sins have not increased in the eyes of the Lord? This place is grown wicked and wicked beyond max, because they don't even let you read the Bible in school. They don't even let you can't go in the courtroom and lean on the scriptural as your defense, but it's in God we trust. That's hypocrisy. It says do what they say, but not as what they do. That's hypocrisy. That's the same thing Yahushua was mad at the Pharisees and Sadducees, the wicked ones. They were telling people to do certain things that they weren't doing. So the same thing now, you see this taking place, is the dismantling and the glory that the Lord is taking away from the earth. Just like the Lord just don't want to come and destroy this place. He wants to torture this place, man. This is what you see taking place. This is a dismantling and a torturing of Babylon the Great. That's why the Lord said, seek me. And you had time in the time of grace to go after this, because the Lord is going to sustain those that have seeked his face, man. That's why it says, kiss the Son, lest he be angry. But now the Lord is torturing Babylon. He's taking it piece by piece. What did it say? Brick by brick. The equalizer. He said brick by brick. It says with the chastisement of a cruel one for the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins were increased. See that? It says, why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. So who's doing this? Who's moving the stir? The Lord controls everything, man. That's how you know that the Lord is he says he rules in the kingdom of men. Esau really ain't moving like he should, man. All right, these moves right here, the moves that are towards the end. This is then the Lord is ultimately going to come on the scene in an angelical way, and he's going to seal the deal. This is Obadiah 1 and verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, and what's bread? Funding, support, have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. See? So now how are we going to back that up? How are we going to back? You got these Jewish billionaires that are funding cross-dressing. Well, watch this. How much? There we go. Now let's see how much. Analysts how a $600 billion fund is building Saudi Arabia's post-oil future. Let's see that. Let's see. Let's see how much the U.S. has sent. There we go. Department of Defense, DOD, administered at least 54.6 billion of military support to Saudi Arabia and United Emirates from the fiscal year of 2015 through 2021. So tell me that's not the prophecy. Tell me that's not the prophecy. Let's read it one more time. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread. See? And we have examples of them eating the bread of Babylon right here. $54.6 billion from 2015 through 2021. That's eating the bread. And it says, have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So that's why you see the movement happening right now when it comes to these players, because all these people on the scene has done what dealings with Babylon the Great in one way or another between treaties. Iran got how much money back this past couple years ago? China is, you know how much money they've been getting, and then Saudi Arabia, $54 billion. All these people are indebted to Babylon, but guess what? They're moving away from Babylon. They're not as tight knit as it once was. Why? What's happening? What's taking place? It says men's goings of the Lord. So who's pushing these men into corners away from Babylon? Is the Most High, because with the fulfillment of prophecy is being done right in front of our eyes, man. All right. So let's go right now to the next. Let's read this one more time before we jump into the next precept. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Right. So now let's jump right to Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah 47 and verse 7. This is Jeremiah 47 and verse 7. How can it be quiet? It says, how can it be quiet, seeing the Lord have given it a charge against Ashkelon, Salakia? Let me go here. Hold on. 49. Hold on. And 7. This is the book of Jeremiah 49 and verse 7, and it says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So there's calamities. What's calamity? So let's look up what that word calamity is. Then we can see what the Lord is going to be bringing on. This is how you get into these scriptures. This is how you dive into it. This is how you bring it to life. The calamity, it says distress, burden, calamity, disasters, day of calamity. So disasters, things that ain't going right. So your enemies now are in bed with each other. Those that you paid money to over the years are now turning their back on you. They might not be openly coming out and saying it, because guess what? You still have somewhat of a power hold, so they have to tread softly. That's why they let U.S. know, because they know U.S. spies already, so they will know. So they're trying to save face and say, oh, we're just doing this deal, but everything's all right between us. You know, it's like curving a female. That's what these nations are doing to Babylon the Great. They're curving Babylon and giving excuses and saying, you know, hey, we're just doing this little deal. It's not you, but we just need to do it for our own benefit. You can hear what they're saying now. This is the book of Ezekiel 16 and verse 37. Behold, therefore I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou hast taken pleasure. And you see it happening right now. Okay, all these people have been in bed with Babylon one way or another, through sanctions, through different kind of treaties, do different things one way or another, that they have dealings with Babylon to where they can be affected, but they're pushing away. And it says, behold, therefore I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou hast taken pleasure, and all them that thou hast loved, with all them that thou hast hated. And they've hated Iran. They've talked about China. China's the new with the islands that are being built in the East China Sea. All these things that are moving, they've talked about China. They've shot down the balloon. All these things that are happening. These are the things that you love and you hate. And it says, all them that thou hast loved and all them that thou hast hated, I will even gather them round about against thee, and I will discover and it says, and I will discover thy nakedness unto them, that they may see all thy nakedness. So the Lord is putting this into their mind, and a part of your nakedness is the things that are being done that are making you look bad in the world, if you want to say that much. That's how you know these scriptures are on point. They're not missing. Everything is being set up. Everything is being moved. That time of what is it called? The realization that Babylon is not what it's cut out to be. So they're trying to jump in and build something else because they're trying to imagine that vain thing, that there's going to be a power structure after Babylon, after the fire clears. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 3. And it says, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. For as it says, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee in darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. All right, because the Lord is dismantling this place, and he's putting shame and spewing filthiness on here, man, because we're set for the destruction. All right, so Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to say with that, Lord willing, that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has brought us this truth and this knowledge and understanding to let us know the times that we're in. So with that, I say, call Elohim Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Say, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Until the next time, I say Shalom, and as always, more now than ever, keep faith.